Tinu, I think this is a really bad idea.
I'm going into space, Daddy, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Fire! Hello, Bill? Bill, come in, Bill. This is CraftPod 13.
I can hear something. Just in the corner there.
I want to talk to Bill.
Yeah, this is Bill. This is Bill. I'm in my loft, my cupboard. Can I help?
The guy from the UK?
England, yeah. Only people from outside of the UK call it the UK.
I'm outside the UK. I'm in space.
That's then fair enough.
CraftPod 13.
Yeah, who's this, by the way? Who's this? Who am I talking to?
Tinu.
Tinu. Does the T stand for anything?
T stands for little.
Hello, little new.
It does. My name literally translates into little.
Little.
So,
okay.
yeah, T is a term of affection for like someone small. Sorta, you can say like T John, T Black, T Blue. And if someone's big, they say like Gro John, Gro Black, Gro Blue.
Okay, so Tinu
new
is little.
Yeah.
I mean, your voice is quite high pitched. Like you do sound like a small person.
I choose to take that as a compliment.
How can I help you, Tinu?
Well, I have some cosmetic products that I'd like to show you. Anyway, how are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm good. Just
yeah, excellent.
Cooking in my cupboard. I mean, literally cooking. It's quite warm in England for once.
What time is it over there?
It's 7 in the evening, but it's muggy. Do you use that word muggy in space?
Yes, we use that word. That's when someone takes your money.
That's mugging. But yeah, or humid. Yeah, there you go.
I'm very familiar with humidity.
Yeah.
I live in Louisiana.
I can imagine. Yeah. How do you survive? Like we have about 4 humid days in the year. And we're all going to die. We all nearly die here. We have more deaths than ever, throughout the year when it gets humid. How do you survive up there? Or,
Well, it's just a thing you get used to. I mean, it's like anything else. You acclimate.
How do you do your hair?
My hair is really, really hard.
Okay.
It's you can bounce a quarter off of it. So it's mostly Aquanet. I gotta say, man, I really like your illustrations. I'm so inspired. I want to try to become a better illustrator, and that's directly because of you.
Well, thanks. You don't want to be a better YouTuber directly because of me, or just
absolutely
just the
not. Just illustration.
Okay. I love the fact you've gone straight for that. The drawings, the kind of the little side trick I do. The doodles that I don't care about. But yeah, it's okay. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
But they're amazing, and you originate the concepts through the drawings mostly, or no?
I mean, literally, that's what they literally are. It's just a way of me getting a concept over. Because I'm not that good at drawing. Yeah. I mean, honestly, go and look at actual illustrators. And you can just put my pictures side by side, and you can just see where is the light coming from, Bill? Where is that light coming from? There's light coming from everywhere. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't call myself an illustrator, but it's a good way of getting concepts over. That's why I use it.
Yeah, well, I like your illustrations, and I have a feeling if you put my illustrations next to your illustrations, the degree of difference between the illustrations that you're talking about would be almost the same. But not in my favor. Yeah,
but you're just little, so you've got time to grow and develop.
Thank you. That's very sweet. Well, I'm working on it. I wanna sketch more and draw. Get my illustrations up.
Yeah, I like your style. I mean, you have a style. I mean, I don't know what my style is, but you can't really fake that. I couldn't draw in your style. Because obviously I'm much more skilled, but I couldn't. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't replicate that.
Yeah, well, that's one of the beautiful things about people is everybody has their own unique thing, and the more we try to enhance our skills and sharpen ourselves, the better we get at our own individual thing. And a lot of times we start off basically emulating something, and then the important part in my point of view is to then branch off from that and try to become better at your own thing. But I really like what you do.
Thanks. Thank you.
And what's the deal with all the robots?
The robots, you know what it is? It's okay. So this thing called coronavirus happened, right?
I've heard of it.
And I wanted to build some stuff, and I couldn't really get any materials. I'm like, hold on, there's like a bin full of junk, and there's plastic, and there's all sorts of different shaped plastic. And I was really good with Lego, so I figured, I could just, this is a shape, I can connect this to this shape. And, what can you make with plastic junk? Robots. You can't really make anything organic with plastic junk, unless you want to be a bit abstract, which I'm not really into abstract. So, I mean, literally all I could make was robots. And it kind of did well on Instagram, so that's kind of what I do. But I do enjoy robots. Robots could be, they can have 4 legs, 5 legs, 10 arms, 1 arm. Do you know what I mean? They could be anything.
Yeah, I saw your cowboy robot that you did recently, and he has, I think, 4 arms, 4 guns. Yeah. Formidable. That's amazing. So you started doing your style of, I know you love this word, art. You started doing your style of art because...
Are you going to keep saying it?
Art. This is happening now. Because you couldn't get supplies. Right? What were you doing before?
Well, it wasn't just that. I think ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to just make stuff. And I think it only kind of occurred to me during lockdown that, I don't know, I can just stick anything to anything if I try hard enough. I kept my relationship together. I can keep 2 bits of plastic together,
It's sort of like Cuba. Cuba was isolated for so long that they really... came up with all kind of innovations and made all these like really amazing strong glues that they can fix their old cars with. Yeah. Did you know about all this?
No, I didn't. I did.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
Oh, thank you. It's Wikipedia.
Have you got it open right now?
Yeah, I'm sort of surfing the internet.
Can you look up art for me? Just look up the page for art.
So you do, you don't like the term art, no?
You know what? My wife, I know in the episodes my wife left me, but she came back. So she's still technically my wife. She's an art teacher.
Oh, congratulations.
Don't congratulate me yet. You've never met her. You don't know her. So, yeah, she's an art teacher. And I was always good at art at school. And I think the more you do art, the more you realise, no, it's just a combination of shapes and colours. And, I know what looks pleasing to the eye. Or there's an idea behind it, which isn't hard to do either. Same with filmmaking. You've made films, right?
I have.
Every scene should be thought about. Like there should be an idea behind it. There should be some sort of hidden message. That's all that art is, hidden messages and thought. And I don't know what art is really. Art is kind of undescribable, right? Indescribable.
Sure. Interesting. I mean, it's an interesting take on it. It's yeah. I mean, I see it, a little bit different. I mean, I think art is a communication, as you're saying. You're having a concept behind it and trying to communicate, and hopefully, if it's good, you're hitting people on different levels. So someone, can be a much older age and watching something and get one.
I guess I agree with that. But that's kind of what I'm saying. Like that doesn't seem like art to me. I feel like I think I hold art in much higher regard. I've never actually found it. Is anything art? Probably not. I think that's my own problem. I think it's just the way people talk about it. It made it sit. It's like pixie dust.
Is Jupiter art?
Maybe. You're up there, mate. Jupiter. I mean, have a look. Look out the other window. Is it?
It's pretty big. It's beautiful. Hey, Bill. I heard that someone told me that people from East London have trouble being nice. Is that true?
We all want to be nice, but we're not allowed to be nice. It's a weakness. I mean, genuinely, East London. From where I grew up in Dagenham, right? You might have. I don't know. Dagenham's kind of world famous for Ford's, the car factory, and for just being a general shithole. Okay, but it's a really bad place in London to grow up. It's got the highest record of mental health problems in the whole of London. I mean, what does that tell you? But I grew up there, and it's merely because it's so grey and bleak and miserable. That's it. It just drives everyone mad. Anyway,
is it just dreary?
It's dreary. There's nothing there. There's one park, which is just rubbish. The slide doesn't slide in that park. It's one of those sticky slides. It's awful. You can only slide down it on a rainy day, and then you just get wet. But it's miserable.
Wet and rusty.
Yeah. I think that's where my fascination with rust came from.
Did you have to grow up fist fighting?
You know what? In a kind of in a way, yeah. I wasn't some tough guy or anything, but Dagenham was that kind of place where you walk down the street. There's another kid your age walking the opposite side of the street. You make sure you don't make eye contact, because if you do, you have to stare each other out.
Wow.
You have to keep staring each other down until someone backs off, and if someone doesn't, then they're like, "What are you looking at?" "I'm looking at you." "What are you looking at?" And then "I'm looking at you," and then it just escalates from there. No one knows how to back off in Dagenham, so it just escalates, and it's kind of like, I guess it's like New Jersey, something like that. From what I've seen in TV and film, you can't back off. It escalates and escalates, and then you end up having a fight. Yeah, that's. So you can't be nice, because that's seen as a weakness there.
Interesting. I mean, it wasn't as maybe acute where I grew up, but yeah, I mean, I grew up, we would have to fist fight. I mean, yeah. I'm no tough guy either, but you had to. I mean, if it was okay to lose the fight, but if you didn't fight back, then things would get really hard.
Yeah, I remember fights at school. I know this is like a crafting chat, but we're going on to school fights. But I remember fights at school, like kids would just surround the fight and just punching and kicking, and you couldn't have a peaceful fight in Dagenham. Everyone has to just get involved. It was it wasn't good. But
I gotta admit, I've only ever had one fight where it was just me and the guy. We decided we weren't gonna fight at school, so I went to his house afterwards, and we went into a field, and
that's too much. There's too much thinking. You know what I mean? Like, there's too much prep.
It was very planned and premeditated. Yes, it was bizarre, and then usually when somebody's had enough, there's somebody there to break it up. But this was one of those fights where it was like, do you have enough? No? Okay, here's some more.
No one wanted to back down. That's the thing. See, a fight is usually a thing of anger, right? When you get so angry you want to fight, you can't stop yourself. But like, if you're planning, oh no, we do it over there. It takes 10 minutes to walk over there. I would calm down in 10 minutes. I just wouldn't be into it anymore.
It was weird. But yeah, this podcraft is just, I just want to talk to people and just see a little bit inside of who they are and their crafting processes, but learning a little bit about people is great too. And I don't know much about what specific town did you say you're around?
Not anymore, but I grew up in Dagenham, which is East London. It's the Cockney. You must have heard of Cockneys, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, around that area.
Right. And usually that's really a hard dialect for a lot of people to understand, correct?
Yeah, but I don't think I have that kind of Cockney twang anymore. I think I've learned to pronounce words a little bit better. But now you can see I'm trying to pronounce words better as we speak, because you just reminded me. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yes. Can you go down to the deli and get a Spam sandwich? I've heard that's a thing.
It was a thing before I was born, maybe. Actually, you know what? They do. I did see a Spam sandwich in a cafe once. We call cafes greasy spoons. Like those dirty cafes that just do fried everything. Yes. And I did see a Spam sandwich in one. And East London is full of them. Like, they're just mainly for the builders. And people building a house nearby, there's a dirty, greasy spoon nearby. Or people that work in the factories. I stay away from them now. But
well, that's a good thing. See, I'm learning stuff here.
Yeah, I can teach you about London if you like.
Well, okay, so let's get back to crafting. Now, we did talk earlier about robots, but I feel like there's probably more there that you could tell me about, because you do a good bit of robots. So you started collecting like different pieces of quote unquote junk, and slapping them together. And so you do have a fascination with rust. You're quite good at it.
That's because I'm not very good at painting. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm not bad at painting. If I spent a bit of time, I have no patience whatsoever. So if I spend a bit of time, I can paint something really nice. But I really just can't be bothered. So rust is easy, you just make it look crap, add a little bit of colour in there, and it's, I've got this rust technique down, and I can just keep doing it over and over again and pretend it's intentional. I'm giving away all my secrets.
I think it looks good. I mean, that's why I'm here. This will never be released to the public. I'm just here to try to steal your secrets. So, more, please.
Well, I mean, luckily I'll make a tutorial video about it, so you can just watch that. I mean,
sweet. Where can I find that?
It's this thing. It's like called YouTube.
Actually, one of the things that I'm trying to do through this crafting stuff is learn more patience and just calming myself down and slowing my thoughts down.
It's like you're in the wrong kind of platform for that? Like,
no. If
you don't make a video within 2 weeks, your subs go way down. You're completely forgotten about, and you have to kind of get back the following again. Do you not find that on YouTube?
Yeah, but that doesn't affect what my state of mind when I'm actually creating something. Yeah. So we were talking about fights a second ago. So in other words, the difference between, like, say you and I being in a physical altercation would be that as soon as it started, our minds would speed up and it would become confused and everything would be happening in flashes, almost like a choppy edit in a movie. Whereas someone who is a professional fighter, one of the things they do in learning to be a professional is to slow their mind down. So they get smacked in the face, and instead of being like, I'm gonna kill you, they just sort of like let it roll off of them and focus back on the thing in front of them.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah. Do you want to fight me? Is that what you're saying, Tina?
If we were closer, I have a feeling we would already be wrestling.
Yeah, but it'd be like,
winner gets a Spam sandwich. That's the deal.
It'd be in front of a fireplace on a rug, wouldn't it?
This is getting weird. 2 glasses of wine.
I've had 2 glasses of wine, actually, yeah. That's true. I actually spilled it all over myself just before we press record.
I actually spoke to a craftsman recently, and we both talked about, like, I've recently stopped drinking. I've just had to. Not like because I'm some kind of deranged alcoholic. It's just that the next day I tend to get depressed, and it could be the smallest amount.
Yeah, well, we called it the what's it called? Someone's going to correct in the comments, but I think it's called the grey dog or something. It's you're depressed for no reason whatsoever, and you just can't explain it to yourself. Like, I'm really depressed, but nothing's happened. Nothing bad has happened. There's no reason for me to be depressed. It's literally a chemical imbalance in your head. Yeah. I get that too.
Yeah, it's just gotten really acute for me recently, like where I used to be able to, have a beer or 2, like, casual social drinking, glass of wine or 2. And now even like a half a glass of wine, and we'll do that. And I was telling Craftsman, it's like, well, man, it would be okay if I could get a little bit of a buzz, and then, you paid a little bit of a price. But I'm drinking like half a glass of wine. I'm not even feeling it. And then, but I do feel it the next day. So I was just like, oh, okay, we're not doing this anymore.
Man, you know what? I'm depressed now. You've depressed me, Tinu. Yeah, but I know what you mean. I don't get the buzz anymore at all. Like, I'd have a glass of wine. You'd get something. You'd feel a tiny bit more relaxed or something. But I don't get that anymore.
Right.
Must be just immune.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, some people's chemical, their body types and stuff are so different that can make a huge difference. Also, just like I have guys, friends of mine who drink crazy amounts of alcohol and can stand up.
Yeah, I mean, I was like one of those people. I could do that, but I don't really drink. Not really, not at all. I'd have like a glass of wine maybe every Friday when I'm doing podcasts, but. I have 1 glass a week, maybe, if that.
Moderation.
Or if I do a live stream. Sorry to cut you off there, Tina.
No, that's fine. That's fine. The yeah, how are the live streams going? I've never done one. I'm scared to death to do one, and yeah.
I don't know if I get much from it. I mean, I enjoy doing it because some nights it's just nice to talk to people that watch your stuff. To be honest, it's like an evening where I should be building something or filming an episode, but I end up spending it streaming instead. So it's kind of, it delays a video coming out a day, you know? And it's like, was it worth it? Do you know what I mean? Like, was it worth giving them like this little live stream, or should I have just got the video out?
You know, I find I'm very good at being able to figure out ways to procrastinate the thing that I need to be doing with something that seems like work, you know?
How do you like to procrastinate? I'm quite interested.
I'll play piano, I'll go outside, you know, and when I say I play piano, I'm trying to learn to play piano. So there's no...
I was learning during lockdown. I was trying to learn. I learned how to play Grow For Me from Little Shop of Horrors, and that's it.
Nice. You had no musical like experience before with the piano?
Not with the piano. I know how to play guitar and bass guitar.
Myself too.
I used to be in a band when I was younger.
Me too.
But I'm no like, you know, I can't read music. I mean, I did watch your podcast with Craftsman talking about reading music, and that the circle of, what was it called?
The circle of fifths. I was gonna say the circle of life and try to do a Hakuna Matata thing, but
I was looking that up, and it sounds interesting. If it's kind of like the color wheel, kind of like it's a formula that I could maybe use for making up songs.
It's very similar, and just like I was telling him, if you just go pick any note or any chord, and you know, you have the outside and the inside, and then you can easily go to the next chord. So in other words, if you're at 12 o'clock looking like you would be looking at a clock, if you chose the chords at 1 o'clock and also the chords at 11 o'clock, all those will sound good together.
Oh, you know what? So, right, I wasn't sure if it was like that or it was like the color wheel, like
opposites,
complementary colors. So I went opposite, and it actually kind of worked still. But then most chords do work together. But I was playing like a chord, and I was going to the opposite one and trying to see if they sounded good. They sounded okay, but I didn't try the ones next to it.
Yeah, no, it's directly next to it.
You should have maybe said that last time, Tina.
Yeah, it wasn't a music tutorial, but I have failed you, and I apologize. One day I will buy you a Spam sandwich.
Do you know what's in Spam?
I don't think anyone does, Bill.
No one does. I was just about to say, no one knows what's in Spam.
It's have you ever seen the Simpsons episode where Lisa, she basically, you know, thinks about, she's becoming a vegetarian, or she is a vegetarian, and they serve her a hot dog, and then there's these thought bubbles, and it's like raccoon, cow, like these alligators, and just all these strange different animals that, you know, and it all combines into the hot dog in her mind. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not far off.
I think Spam's similar to that, but worse.
Spam is like your hot dogs. You know, I was in New York and I was so desperate. I really wanted to try a hot dog, but I was too scared. Just because I know what goes in there.
You need an all beef frank, man. Those are good.
All beef frank? Is that a brand?
No, it's just the stuff that's in it. It's only beef. It's like an all beef frank.
Oh, right. Okay. See, I don't know that stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
hot dog.
You'll come here and you'll just have any old Spam sandwich, you know. You'd have to speak to me first. I'll show you the good Spam.
Let me tell you that the hot dog technology over the last 10 years has really improved.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's
like the killing and squishing of random animals.
No, just the end product just being better. There's sort of a gourmet hot dog thing. See, we're talking about crafting, right?
Yeah. I guess my education about hot dogs is from 80s New York, film set in New York, you know, like gangster films and Sleepers, when they take the hot dog van away. Right?
When you were in New York, were you working on a film? Because you do have a film background, correct?
I was working on like corporate documentaries, but I did travel to New York twice doing that. I traveled everywhere doing that. I traveled all around the world doing corporate documentaries, which is so boring I'm not going to talk about. But the traveling was really good. Traveling was fun.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I've done a stint making educational films. They were weird. I made very weird educational films.
Did you make them weird on purpose?
The ones that they let me do by myself, yes, they they just came out weird.
Did you have any puppets in there? Oh, sorry, there's no such thing as puppets.
There was 100% puppets in there.
Well, I mean, so when you're editing stuff like that for clients, right? I'll take it over for clients, right? So I used to do some crazy interesting edits, like, you know, nice big music montages or crazy shots, and, you know, I'll put a shot in there because it looks amazing. It's probably got nothing to do with the product or whatever, you know, and then I'd get told to cut that out, take the music out, blah blah blah, you know, all this stuff. And it really kind of like held me back, and I guess that's kind of why that's why my edits are so crazy on YouTube, because I could just do what I want.
Yes.
You know, like weird sound effects. I can, this thing's just gonna fly in, or it's gonna shuffle across the floor. All this rubbish isn't just gonna be removed, it's gonna kind of wash away like a wave off of my mat, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna add some weird sounds in there, and this sound doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna make a little fart sound when I squeeze the paint out of a pot, you know, just because I can, and it's fun. You know what I mean? That's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's part of the freedom of YouTube. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I love doing these videos, is because I just get free reign on what I want to try or what I want to attempt. There's also, you know, there's the other side of that where you also don't know where the parameters are. You have to create the parameters and the limitations in your own mind, or you'll just ramble on like this podcast. Yeah.
And we're back. Where were we? What were we talking about? Your film career.
You were in space, and I was in
hot dogs. So
and no, it was crazy editing we were talking about. Crazy editing on YouTube.
Look, I did educational videos. I also did movies, and I spent a lot of time in crazy editing suites with crazy directors, and that's an interesting experience. And yes, you don't have the freedom that you have on YouTube, so I totally hear what you're saying.
Well, I mean, I used to direct stuff, quite a lot of
that explains a lot.
Films, and I produced a lot as well. I've done a bit of I've even like AD'd, assistant directed, and big feature films and things like that.
Nice.
You know, I've run what's it called? I've been a third AD, running all the extras on a big budget action film, and I've done a bit of everything.
That's a great experience. I mean, to do like different jobs, it's incredible. You just get such an education with it, and you do.
I mean, a film set is a fun place. When you're on actually a big budget film set, when it's just kind of like, it is a bit crazy. Like there's just random equipment left everywhere. You know, the film I was working on was in do you know West Ham Football Club? You heard of West Ham?
No.
Soccer, you would call it. Well, it's a big football club in London, and just before they demolished it, they shot an action film in there with Dave Bautista, and it was called Final Score, and it's terrible, a really terrible film. But I was an AD on that film, and we had the whole football arena to ourselves. So we'd have, like, you know, I mean, this arena is massive. Imagine like an American football arena. You know, you got the tunnels underneath, and you got the food courts, and it was all abandoned and just left for us.
Wow.
And all of the crew and all the actors, and in the evening we had a room that we dedicated to nightclub room. You know, we had a room that we dedicated to pizza room, a room that we dedicated to, you know, just casual pub room. And every night it was we all just slept in a random VIP booth, you know, each in the arena. Went down on the pitch and played football when everyone had a bit to drink.
Oh wow!
And all the actors were getting involved, and yeah, it was crazy. But that was one of the best experiences of my life, and that was just on one rubbish film that no one's ever going to watch. I've watched it once, I didn't like it. Yeah,
I have contributed to so many rubbish films that it's shocking. But yeah, that's what I did. Lots of horror films.
That's the thing. It's very hard to actually be working on a good film. Like, that's very rare. It is,
and I would love to have had that experience, but I decided at some point.
Well, I still haven't. So
no, I haven't either.
But we're still filmmakers, right? We still made films.
Right.
The bigger films I worked on, it was it's more controlled, less fun, less chaotic. Is what I'm saying, you know.
Yeah.
It might have been a better film, but it wasn't as fun to work on. Imagine like the Troma films, you know, back in the 80s. Imagine they were fun to work on.
The what films?
Like Troma.
What?
Do you know Troma?
Truman?
Troma films. Troma, like Toxic Avenger, things like that. Old 80s horror films.
I see.
They would have been fun to work on.
I see. I'm unfamiliar with. I know the Toxic Avenger. I didn't know the company that did it.
Okay.
So
should we cut that bit out?
Maybe. I feel like I'm being super awkward. I don't know why.
Maybe it's me. I don't know. You know, actually, let's get back on track. I think maybe we're just going to be off track.
No problem. What would you like to talk about today, Bill? Videos?
That's the thing. That's the thing about, like, East Londoners don't like to talk about anything.
You are on a podcast. You do know this, yes. So let's see. Let me think here for a second. Tell me.
What do you want to know about me?
Well, you're a dad, right?
Yeah, I am.
See, this is where you elaborate. Yes.
Yeah, I had sex and she gave birth. 9 months later, we had a son.
That's how it works. Finally, someone.
Yeah.
Thank you, East London. That must be a difficult balance, doing YouTube videos and you're sort of the primary caretaker, yes?
Yeah, my wife's the kind of full-time teacher, and I'm the stay-at-home dad YouTuber. So yeah, pretty much. But he does go nursery. Like it was 2 days now, 3 days. But when it's the summer holidays at the moment, he goes back for like 4 days a week. So I'd have some more time to work. But he just kind of do it in the evenings or in the morning when maybe he goes out with his grandma or whatever, you know. And you just try and you have to just fit it in when you can, and it's really hard. See, I don't know about you, but I need to be into it. You know, I have to be really motivated to do it.
Yes.
And like, you know, if I start doing something, I get into it, and then I can't be taken away from it. And if I am, I can never get back to it. You know, so I think I've learned how to stop and start. I never used to be able to do that, but I've kind of learned how to do that now with YouTube. Like I've had to just train myself to get back, continue where I was left off. You know.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point to make, is that it is difficult, and that's an art form in and of itself. There's that word again. Like learning how to do that. Also, putting yourself in front of the work when you're not quote unquote motivated is super important. There's this great book by Stephen King called On Writing, which you would think doesn't have much to do with crafting, but actually, a lot of the things that he's talking about apply to many different disciplines. And one of the things that he says is just, you know, you have to just sit yourself down. You just have to be...
Yeah, and write every day, right? He says, just keep writing. I have heard a few quotes from this book, and it doesn't he just write, even if it's rubbish, he writes anyway.
Yeah,
he just keeps writing every day.
Well, you just start writing. It doesn't mean that whole session is going to be just not good. It just means that maybe that first 5 or 10 minutes will be not good.
I think that's the problem with a lot of people when they start something. Like a lot of people that don't do crafts or, you know, artists, they find it so hard to start because they expect it to be good, you know, when they start. Same with filmmakers. I met so many young filmmakers who expect their film to be good. It took me like ages. Like I just kept making films, short films, until I got good at it, until I kind of was like literate in the language, you know, like I had to learn the film language, you know, and it took, I don't know, I made so many short films when I was a kid, you know, growing up with friends, and then loads when I was a grown up, which, you know, I learned more technical stuff. But yeah, it's like you have to just keep doing it until you get good at it. No one's good at anything. Maybe, you know, some people, savants or whatever, but well, so I'm trailing off now.
Well, yeah, no, you're doing great. This is what I want to know more about you. So this is fantastic. I love it when you elaborate. Tangents are good. I mean, yeah, I can go off for ages. But so you and your friends when y'all were younger, you would just grab like what, a high-8 VHS or, you know, high-8 camera and just shoot some little films? The
first film I ever made was on a VHS camera, and we had to stop-start, we actually had to record then and there. We couldn't edit. We had no way of editing.
Exactly.
So,
yes, I know. Yes.
We made a whole film. Have you ever seen a film called Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels?
Absolutely. Guy Ritchie. Love it.
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely hate it, being from East London, but yeah. So when we were kids, my twin brother, I have a twin brother, by the way, and he's always done the same stuff as me.
Gotcha.
But we both made a film on a VHS camera with another friend who's seen Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Me and my brother haven't seen it. And we're doing it. It's like, we should do this, they should kidnap this person, put them in a truck, and then we do this bit down this corridor. Basically he told us the whole Lock, Stock film, and we filmed it, and we're thinking, this is so good, we're going to send this off, like we can send this to someone. And he goes, oh no, this is Lock, Stock and Two Smoking. I've just told you what happened in that film when we filmed it. Me and my brother were just so angry. We thought we'd come up with such a good idea for a film. We just hadn't seen it yet.
That's hilarious. That's a great story. So and then at some point you must have transitioned into having access to being able to edit stuff, correct?
That was quite a lot later. We had a high 8 camera for a while. There's little tapes, and we still couldn't edit with that. It was still kind of record, pause.
Right.
And it was quite a bit later. We had one friend, I think I was like 18 when I could first edit. Like, I had a friend who could actually edit on his laptop, and that was amazing. I think obviously the first thing we ever made was like a zombie film.
Nice.
Just adding rubbish music in there, but yeah.
My daddy would love that. He'd want to see it.
Yeah? Does he like zombie films?
He loves them. I don't know why. I think it's all the eating. He can really relate to that.
It's the sound effects, is it, like that?
It sounds like our dinner table, yes.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think people realise how lucky they are these days. Like, you can just, the amount of stuff you can do on a phone. I sound like such an old man, but the amount of stuff you can do on a phone, like the quality of the video, you record, you can Foley sounds in, you can dub your voice in, you can edit, you can grade it on your phone. It's ridiculous. And
it's pretty crazy, the level of technology that's happened in filmmaking in even the last 10 years. Because I film everything with an iPhone 11, and it's more for...
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm quite shocked. You film your whole episodes on your iPhone?
That's all I've ever used, except for one series of shots and one video that I used the 5D Mark III Canon.
Well, I'll give you a round of applause, because it doesn't look... I can normally tell when it's shot on a phone, but yours doesn't look like it's shot on a phone. It doesn't look like it at all.
It's light. That camera needs light, and it's really weird. There's some kind of a strange bug inside of that phone also, where the zoom, now I understand like a digital zoom, like you just
should never do.
Right, you're just blowing it up. So I understand that, but the problem with this is even if you back the zoom off, like less of a zoom, it gets really crazy grainy. It's the strangest thing. So I just leave it on one setting and treat it like a prime lens and move the camera, and never zoom in. But a prime lens, by the way, if anyone's out there listening, it's a lens on a camera that doesn't move. If you want something bigger in the frame, you move the camera closer to the subject.
You move yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
And it also tends to have better picture quality and better depth of field, because it doesn't have to zoom. There's less mechanics in there. But
correct.
I mean, that's what I use. I use prime lenses, apart from when I do the crash zoom on my shots.
Right.
But,
yeah, I'll do slow digital zooms, because I see the nice thing with the iPhone is I can record it in 24 frames per second. I can also.
I think that's what makes the difference. That's why it doesn't look so much like a phone. Because I was going to ask if you're doing 24 FPS.
Oh man, I only like that. Nothing kills me more. Oh, actually, one thing kills
60.
me more than 60 is the worst. 30 is bad, and 60 is the worst. It's this hyper reality.
Even 25 looks off to me. It looks like cheap TV.
Interesting. I mean, it's so close though.
It is, but I can tell the difference. Can you? You must be able to tell
Well,
the
I don't
difference.
see much 25.
I mean, I think British TV is 25. I think your American TV is 29, right?
29.97, yeah.
Yeah, British TV tends to be 25, so to me it looks like TV, when I see 25 frames.
Right, but most stuff nowadays, like even if you're watching it on TV, even if it's converted to 29, which I'm think a lot of that's being phased out, it's still a lot of it's shot in 24 and then converted to 29, which makes a difference. It doesn't change the look of it if you do that. It's strange. I'm not sure of the hoodoo behind that. I'm only so high on my technical know-how of that stuff. I start to get pretty bored with it, like probably our audience is right now, because they have no idea what we're talking about. What kind of camera?
You are an editor. You can edit that stuff out, I guess.
No. I think that's fine. I think a lot of the actual viewers will hopefully be interested, and if not, there's a little fast forward button. So, what kind of camera are you using?
Well, I'm using a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, like the 4K. It's that camera that no one can get hold of like a year ago, but now everyone seems to have it.
Nice.
I used to use it professionally for shoots, but yeah, it's a nice camera. It's a really good camera. It shoots raw, so.
Yeah, you just throw a LUT on there, which.
Well, I don't shoot raw because my PC is so bad. I couldn't fit all the files on there for one episode. I tried it at the beginning, and I had to. This is going to bore your audience as well.
No.
I couldn't fit enough data on my PC to shoot in raw.
Once they listen to the first 15 minutes of this podcast, this is going to seem like the most exciting thing on earth.
What's wrong with the first 15 minutes? We was talking about spam in East London.
Boy, that was good times back then. I love this kind of stuff. I don't know about you.
I mean, I thought you were using a DSLR at least. It looks like a DSLR.
Oh, well.
I mean, there's no shallow depth of field, but it looks, I don't know, it just looks more professional than an iPhone.
Thank you.
I've seen people use iPhones on YouTube, and it just, you can tell.
Yeah, it's, well, I don't know. I mean, if something doesn't look good to me, then I have to do it again. So I try to make it look good. Sometimes I get lazy, or I'm just so involved in the craft that I'm trying to do that starts to go a little bit, that gets left behind a little bit, and once you move past it, it's too late. So it becomes a montage or something. But anyway, do you see yourself in a monitor when you're filming?
I didn't at the beginning, but then I had to keep focusing, running over to the camera, because I had such a long lens, because I wanted that nice shallow depth of field. I had a long lens. I had to keep running over, try and focus on a spot. I had a little plate with a face on it, and try and get that focus right. And then I have to run back, record, and then I'll be quite unsure, and then I have to run back in the middle of a take to make sure I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah, that's rough.
Focus it again. But eventually, I've set up a monitor so I can see myself, but I try not to. You might see in the episodes I kind of look down and left quite a lot. It's because I'm probably watching myself perform in front of the camera. So yeah, I do watch myself. That's mainly there for the overhead camera as well when I shoot the craft. It's I've been in focus a lot more since I've had that thing.
And that's a separate camera, so you're using two cameras?
Oh no, it's the same camera. I just got a I've got a long HDMI lead that goes under my desk and onto this monitor.
Gotcha. That's my only problem is I don't see anything when I'm shooting. I have to lean over and try to see if behind the phone, and I've tried to figure out ways of monitoring the iPhone, and everything's delayed, and so I had
it's like you have to send it wirelessly, don't you? And it's a bit delayed.
Yeah, I even
so
tried
like an iPad or something like that. It's doesn't really work.
Yeah, I even tried a GoPro. I had bought a GoPro. I was like, okay, this will be great. And same problem. It was like a 2-second delay. It was almost 2 seconds. It was impossible, like useless and frustrating. I returned it.
Do you think you're gonna upgrade to like a real camera at some point?
Probably not. I have too much freedom with the iPhone 11.
I mean, it must be so easy. It must be so much easier. I don't really want to move my setup.
Right.
And imagine you can easily just move your setup, go outside and start throwing flying saucers about or whatever it is you do.
Yeah, and I just put it in my pocket and walk, It's right there, and then take it out, polish up the lens.
I do have. I've done a few episodes where I've been out and about walking through the woods,
that, yeah.
and I have this little DJI Osmo. If you look that up, it's kind of like a tiny little camera on a gimbal, smaller than a mobile phone, but it's got a tiny little gimbal head, and it levels itself, and that's quite good for moving shots. And I can attach a radio mic to it as well, so that's kind of what I use when I'm out and about.
Nice.
But let's stop. Should we stop boring everyone now?
Sure.
Do you think?
Sure. Are there those big red buses? Do they pass around like where you live? Do you ride those? Because I love those. I want to ride those.
Do you really want to? You don't want to ride the red buses in London, really? You don't?
I want to ride the red buses in London.
I mean, you talk about having your fights, and I hope you're ready for fights now.
Will they beat me up?
It depends what buses you go on. All right, so I used to live in London. Now I live on the south coast. I live near Brighton. If you've ever heard of a town called Brighton,
I have.
It's the south coast of England, and it's nice. But I used to live in East London, and I used to take this bus to work every day, and it was the hottest, most disgusting double-decker red bus in the world. I think it was voted the worst bus route in London. But you'd get pickpocketed every day waiting for the bus. Everyone just squishes you, and it's just chicken and chips all over the floor.
Oh, wow.
It was the worst. It's the worst thing in the world. Worst thing in the world. You couldn't move because there'd be someone screaming at the bus driver every stop, like punching the windows. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Wow.
But there are nice red buses. Go West London, North London, go to one of the nice areas. There are nice double-decker buses. Do you not have double-decker buses at all then?
No,
I suppose you don't.
We have just single buses. But yeah, I just think the red buses are cool. I'm starting to change my mind now that you've painted such a...
Some of them are. They're okay. If you go central London is fine. You go central. I grew up on the outskirts of London, so that's not a nice place. But central is always fine. There's no trouble there. Everything's pretty clean. So yeah, if you go to London, just don't go to Dagenham.
Craft 13.